name's Tim McKenzie and this is Jeff. My view of nature is very much that from an urban dweller. I've always lived in cities and in some ways I feel disconnected from nature because of this. The water I drink comes from a tap, the food I eat is mainly packaged, and I spend much of my time indoors. And even in a city like Manchester, where we're often very conscious of the weather because it's often rainy, this doesn't really impact me on my day-to-day life. And yet I try to enjoy the aspects of nature I can find within a city environment. And this is something that I've tried to explore in my current subject which I'm studying, which is geography. And there's a concept within geography to do with place. And this concept divides places into three different aspects. One being a specific location, on a map for example, or if we take the example of Manchester, it lies 53 degrees north of the equator. The other is locale, which is how a place looks. Its physical features, so that could be the Peak District and its peat bogs, or the streets and buildings that make up Manchester. And also within this concept is sense of place, how places make us feel and what they mean to us. And this is something I try to consider on a day-to-day basis when travelling and living in Manchester. So often when going into the city centre, I travel in on my bike, but I travel through the park. I travel through Alexandra Park in Whalley Range. And I'm fascinated by sights, sounds, smells and feelings of the park at different times of the seasons and different times of day. And particularly the sounds interest me. So in springtime when you have lots of bird activity going on, and I'm often drawn away from what is an urban environment into a natural one through hearing, say, the sound of a chaffinch or the caw-caw of a wood pigeon. And this connects me with nature in what is fundamentally a very human environment. And this is something I think is important to consider for me when living, as I have done all my life, in cities, to try and connect with rural and country life in some shape or form. Because for me, even though I live in cities, I'm reliant on rural aspects for everything that I eat and drink. So that's what I think. If you want to find out what these guys think, well, it's quite quiet, so you have to come a bit closer.